Barbie, or should I say hi, Kuldeep? First of all, I love your pink outfit.
Hi Barbie, thank you so much. I love your Barbie themed fit as well, Yani. But of course, let's not forget to say hi to our PowerPod listeners. What's up, guys? This is PowerPod, and we are back better than ever.
That is so true. Thank you all so much for being here for our newest episode, titled to be mentioned later for suspense purposes. Also, in case you are new here, I am Yani Tabunan and I will be one of your resident hosts here in PowerPod. So stay tuned for our episodes in the future.
And I am also Yani's other half in hosting this podcast. I am Kuldeep, aka Fantastic. The energy here is so unreal today. P.S. You ain't wanna feel the FOMO, just like in our podcast trailer. So if you guys haven't watched that yet, please do visit our YouTube and Instagram accounts, both at the rate Girl Power Talk.
That's right. We also regularly use both platforms, so make sure to check that out. So, Kuldeep, I am very excited to talk about our topic today, and I'm sure our listeners already have an idea based on our intro. Do you want to tell them the title, or I will?
I'll go ahead right away, Yani. Today's episode is titled Barbieland, a safe space for men and women. And yes, you heard that right. It's with a question mark. And why is that?
What is the tea? I actually cannot wait for us to talk about this topic because I am not exaggerating when I say this movie changed my life. Warning, this episode will have many spoilers, so if you haven't watched the movie yet, please skedaddle and listen to our previous episodes. However, we are not just only going to discuss Barbie, which is the movie main character, but also relevant characters like Ken, so we can have a debate, or even better, a healthy discourse and a deeper understanding of Barbieland, whether or not is it a safe space for men and women. Are you excited, Kuldeep?
I kid you not, Yani, if I say that I'm on the edge of my seat right now. But yes, I'm very much excited and happy to be here. And it's also because of our invited guests who are young leaders from Girl Power Talk.
Hey everyone, Shahina here. I am 22 years old and I am from Jakarta, Indonesia. Personally, I really loved how the Barbie movie showed me the realm of possibility. Those who played with Barbie dolls growing up that are now also watching the movie are getting to relive their dreams in a different way. And I'm so glad to be on PowerPod talking about this.
Hello everyone, this is Riddhi Joshi from Mumbai, India. First of all, I want to start by saying that you all look fantastic in your pink attire. And about Barbie, she always had a particular place in my heart. So ever since I was young, the famous doll has been a continuous friend in my life from childhood and beyond, with her elegance and limitless creativity. So yeah, I am really anticipating a really good conversation with you all.
Hi everyone, I'm Samaira Chaudhary and I'm from India. I'd like to believe that I'm one of the descendants from the Barbieland trapped in the body of a 17-year-old. I stand by my belief that being a humanitarian is more than just a diadem that everyone must wear with elegance, and Barbie does it exquisitely and passionately. She radiates confidence and she's always in vogue, and I stand Barbie as a person. I'm thrilled to be on PowerPod today. I'm gonna have Barbie Yani take it over from here now.
All right. Thank you so much for that, guys. Glad you are all here with us today. Now, let's dive into the basics. Why do we love or hate the movie Barbie? Personally, it's my movie of the year because it really touched my soul and I actually cried with my friends. Not only that, comedy is check, check, check. What about you, Kuldeep?
I so damn agree, Yani. I think working in content, media, and marketing, I was extremely inspired by the campaigns that the makers came up with. Also, this very relevant perspective that they portrayed through the film, which was to celebrate your ordinary self. We don't see many movies doing that in our times, do we? In a way, I think Barbie shows us a world where women have power that is derived from kindness, unity, and self-actualization. I'm really intrigued to know what our guests think as well. What about you, Shahina?
Honestly, I agree with what Yani said about the movie touching her soul. I went into the cinema expecting some fun, nostalgic comedy, but I am a huge Greta Gerwig fan, so I was also expecting my heart to just hurt a little. But yeah, the movie was just a beautiful representation of girlhood. The subtleties in every scene, the twists and turns, the comparisons and contradictions with the real world and Barbieland, and how at one point every single woman or person watching the movie was able to relate to something portrayed on the screen. It really shows how well Greta encapsulates that sort of human experience with feminist commentary in one big pink movie. What did you think about it, Riddhi?
I fully agree that Greta Gerwig is one of the women who have produced some of the excellent films like Lady Bird, Little Women, and then just released Barbie. She was the main reason I entered the theater to see this movie. But before that, I would like to tell that I was a fan of other toys also, like Hot Wheels and motorcycle accessories. I was that kid who used to purchase tons of toys as a kid, and Mattel would be very happy. I was a very loyal customer to them. But there was a sizable collection of the Barbie, like garments, accessories. I remember being amazed by these varieties of Barbie dolls available. It was exciting to choose a doll. In addition, Barbie had countless accessories and outfit options, which let me come up with my creative and original stories for my dolls. And throughout that time, I had the opportunities, to watch these lovely animated Barbie movies. I was a fan of Warner Brothers and Disney a lot, but there was one time I remember, like 8 p.m. I used to wait for 8 p.m. in the night for the Sunday just to watch that one Barbie movie. I used to adore them, and with such curiosity and anticipation, I used to watch those corset dresses, and it was one of the reasons that I persuaded my mother to purchase one for me. Living through all of this was a wonderful experiences, and that basically reminded me that why I should relive this experience of Barbie once again at this age, and what message they have delivered in a subtle and simplistic manner. I really appreciate that, and kudos to them, kudos to the whole team of the Barbie. What do you think, Samaira?
Okay, so to begin with, to scatter it out, I think we are all in awe of Greta's directory. The movie talks about illustrated standards of unrealistic beauty. It waters and garners the relationship between genders through ages and ages, and it's surreal to think about. The addition of Mermaid Barbie, though, Dua Lipa. Okay, wow, that was great. That was a great choice. The franchise version of the movie was a classic move, I gotta admit. The serene and beautified choice of artists and music was fantastical. But on the contrary, the false belief portrayed in the movie towards Barbie's misogynistic propaganda was and still is a part of the disturbing reality in today's world. Even though it's an alluring depiction and version of how a female should look like, it has inculcated unrealistic expectations of body images for a woman. I'm gonna have Barbie Annie take it over from here now.
I totally agree with everything that you guys just said. I love how we mentioned other successful women in the conversation, her, and there were so many wonderful cameos in the movie, and I just couldn't stop smiling. I am also such a fan of Greta Gerwig's movies, so if you haven't watched her other films and you need a good cry, please do watch Lady Bird and her version of Little Women.
Oh, I actually haven't, Yani, but I would love to, I think, from this conversation. But for me, I think this film was a treat for my heart. I considered it a very important film that is so smartly made. The creativity, the marketing, the casting, everything is pitch perfect. I am actually very thrilled to know everyone's perspective about the film on this conversation today. How did you guys watch Barbie, and what was the experience like? Is that similar for you, Riddhi?
Absolutely, Kuldeep. The actors, the plot, the marketing, production value, the music, everything else about the movie were excellent. But I was having certain high expectations for the Barbie character played by Margot Robbie, obviously. I'm not sure whether that's okay to say, but that character could have been more deeper in some sensitive way. When you watch the movie again as I'm saying in a very practical manner. So when you watch a movie, you will remember the character of Ken, or you will remember the character of America Ferrera's dialogue. But the Barbie character played by her was, could have been developed more. That's my particular reason to say. But other than that, I'm a huge fan of Will Ferrell and America Ferrera. These are the performers who made an impression on us despite having very limited screenwriting. Oh my god, such a masterfully constructed monologue. And she said it in a very simple as well as, that manner that that actually leave an impact on us. In some way, we all could feel it. This movie is a type of social, political, capitalistic satire that must be displayed everywhere. One of the things I enjoy about this, how these ideas are presented in a very straightforward way, or you can say in a style of commercial movie. That means it may appeal to broader audience and succeed. Well, congratulations to Greta for breaking into the $1 billion movie market. Yeah. So, Samara, what are your thoughts on this?
They have adapted to these minute details in the world, which almost makes you feel like it has been a part of the real world since forever. Oh, and the most awaited aspect that I've been willing to talk about is the social and political side of it. Oh my goodness. That segment was an eye-opener. For firm believers in today's world like myself, the talk about fascism was a bit bold move, and it's controversial and it's powerful, and I'm here for it. The marketing agenda, though, and the production for the movie was timeless. It was over and beyond. Honestly, to comment further on your thoughts, Riddhi, I think the cast, chef's kiss. Margot, Ryan, Emma, Will, beautiful people. It was such a subtle experience overall. What do you think, Shahina?
Barbie's marketing was crazy all over the world. I would honestly just scroll through TikTok the whole month before the movie and watch all the different marketing techniques that different companies and countries were using. I mean, here in Jakarta, we had roller parks and actual like Barbie Life in the Dream House playgrounds open up in the middle of malls. And, it was just so fun to see that kind of shared excitement between everyone. I know some people didn't really like the marketing of the movie though. I've heard comments about the marketing for Barbie, like overhyping the movie. And honestly, I personally don't agree with that. I think the marketing made us just nostalgic enough to enjoy the heartwarming movie that Barbie was. Watching the movie itself though was somewhat healing in a way. I also definitely did have a cry sesh just like Yanni and her friends did after the movie. But hey, I'm sure it was a beautiful moment to share with your besties, right, Yanni?
Absolutely, Shahina. Friendships really got stronger because of Barbie. Like, my friends and I also all dressed up in pink and we cried together in the cinema. And I actually saw on TikTok last night that this summer is like the girliest of girl eras that we can ever experience. Mainly because of Barbie, Taylor Swift on tour, and many, many more. Plus, every company really joined in on the marketing because everything was pink. And yeah, I'm not complaining. However, we have to talk about the controversies, the critics, and the many opinions of the others. I mean, everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but I just feel like they didn't really get it if they didn't like. What's your take on it, Kuldeep?
I kind of agree with this. Of course, to each their own when it comes to opinions and having, the ability or the liberty to critique a film. But I personally want to call this film a pink revolution because the world, I think today is such a small place. It was both exhilarating and exhausting. Honestly, to watch everything in pink, but just like everything has a negative and a positive to it, same I think is the case with this as well. But it brought the world together in such a peaceful way, and I love that. I think this is my take on the whole Barbie, phenomenon that took place in the world. I am actually particularly in awe of the makers for touching upon some relevant themes like self-discovery, empowerment, equality in relationships, adventure, and exploration. But most importantly, to be yourself and embrace your originality. I think we don't have many movies who, do that. And to have a film based on Barbie, which is considered conventionally to be something only for women, something very girly and something feminine, to have these themes and to represent these themes through such a film was definitely very unique for me. So I think that's my take on that.
Yes, and if you are an avid watcher of Barbie since you were a little girl or boy, plus played with so many Barbie dolls, you would know that Barbie's tagline is, "You can be anything." But over the years, I think it got lost in translation. But yeah, I do think that specific tagline got lost in translation over the years. Therefore, setting unrealistic expectations for women. For example, you should be both beautiful and smart, but not cocky. A leader, but not dominating men. You have to both balance career and being a mother. Like, it's exhausting. Like, can't we be just us, beautiful, broken, and authentically us? This is actually mentioned in the monologue part of the movie, and it struck me a lot. that, right, Kuldeep?
I agree. Speaking about America Ferrera, there is this one sequence in the movie when Margot Robbie's character meets America Ferrera's Gloria, and the latter describes how navigating the world as a woman is like swimming through a sea of knives, how their responses to every contradictory and changing demand are never good enough, never sweet enough, never sexy enough, never strong enough, which is a world altering revelation from this movie. And I think, speaking about Ken, what character development, man. I think I personally love that. Ken is the ultimate plus one to Barbie, and I think a lot of the male audience didn't really understand that the movie was also shedding some light to the struggles of men. Were you able to catch that, guys?
Absolute thoughts on it. The way we have objectified women in today's world is plausible because men and women both have been a part of this continuum belief that we need to fulfill each other's expectations when it comes to creating a bond together. To talk about Ken's purpose in the movie, I think it was solely directed towards the people who cannot seem to accept their own independence, and it's more than just a psychological phenomena. It was an intrinsic patriarchy, toxic belief of masculinity. The resilience that Barbie had shown throughout as she was still trying to figure out what her purpose was and is in today's world. Let's hear what Shahina has to say about it.
I honestly do have my own interpretation of Ken portraying someone finding out their purpose as well. He goes through those motions of feeling like an accessory for Barbie to being open to the idea of letting Barbie let go of him. Barbieland portrays this girl world, and when Ken finally leaves Barbieland to discover the real world, he is so easily influenced by the patriarchy, which we all experience. And he finally felt like he could control something. So that's exactly what he did. He went back to Barbieland to take away power from women and get ahead of them. He could have easily made his own land or have his, Mojo Dojo Casa house next to Barbie Land, but he chose to take over Barbie Land. He couldn't really find that meaning in his own self and his own life. In truth, to me, Ken is just, representing someone who has those insecurities, someone who is not ready to go on their own journey or figure out their purpose. He was lost, and he needed to finally realize he needs to find that meaning in himself for himself. But yeah, that's just my perspective on Ken being Kenough.
You know what? Throughout the entire film, Ken was the character that I truly fell in love. And I believe Ryan Gosling was the ideal actor to portray that role. From the first, I really felt a connection with him. I agree with Samira that gender expectations that we have created have put some strain on each of them that was literally displayed in the movie. One of the most amusing scenes in the film when he emphasizing about upholding patriarchy, which is like a satire or very satiric, which is presented in a very ironical way, contrast to reality which we are living in. And there was this one line when Ken said that he only loved the horses when challenged that, and he doesn't even like patriarchy. So it was intended as a critique of chauvinistic, poisonous so-called communities, alpha male, sigma male thinking that the in the perception that people used to think. So yeah, Ken was the character that was humorous, that was sensitive, and that was ideal person to deliver the greater message in a light manner. Yeah. So over to you, Yani. What do you think that?
All of your takes are actually so interesting, guys. Keep up the good work, because now we have to shed light on the big question. And that question is actually already in the title of our episode, which I think is already answered by us. So let's dissect. First of all, it was clearly presented in the movie that Barbieland could be better spaces for both men and women. But since Barbieland is symbolic for our current society today, what can we do moving forward? Rest assured, even though we think it's a long way to go, we are already further than expected. Do you think so, Kuldeep?
I think, as per me, many unaware blokes and people have termed this film as Feminism 101. From Ken's perspective, I think it has to be his journey of personal development in a relationship. I absolutely love the realism of this movie that I'm pretty sure most people do as well. But owing to a stereotypical perception of the color pink, I wasn't really sure what this film would entail. I think Ken's journey raises a very important question, which is about growing and evolving in relationships, which is so rare to find these days. I think it's all about being a better human being, and whether it's in a relationship or whether it's being single, always trying to, work on yourself and trying to become a better version of yourself. But now at this point, I think after having an amazing conversation with varied perceptions, I'm really excited to know everybody's last thoughts on what Barbie the film has meant to them. And we'll start with Shahina.
My overall take on Barbie would be that it's a moving self discovery film. Gender roles were certainly the base of the film, but Greta Gerwig showed us a layered take on the real world, allowing us to actually watch different perspectives on how people view the patriarchy. I think it all just links back to us, who we are internally, and our actions on a day-to-day basis. My number one usual advice when talking about the topic of feminism is education and awareness. And I think that even just taking the time out to watch and understand the Barbie movie is a step in the right direction. It may open up your mind to things you never really noticed before. And for women, it may give you that support that you never really realized you needed or you longed for.
The theme that each person is unique and should be praised for the distinctive feature is one of the message that was promoted in a Barbie movie. It discussed significant social issues and highlighted the value of equality, understanding, and most important, compassion. It was a welcome diversion from usual Barbie films, which frequently concentrated on Barbie love life or her flawless looks. This new movie was more realistic and approachable, and it conveys excellent message that will appeal to the viewers of all age. Yeah, that was a message that Barbie gives. Samaira, what are your views?
I'd like to say that it's true and it's beautiful and it's beautifully real that you can be anything only if you put your mind to it. Barbie found her purpose by becoming a human, and just as I mentioned in the beginning of this pod, that being a humanitarian is more than just an item that everyone must wear with elegance. It is an emotion. Finding the perfect in you is always and always going to be flawed. It's always appreciated if you start experiencing even the most cruel moments of your life as a step towards attaining glorified happiness and success that you want and desire to have. Don't just manifest a lifestyle like Barbie has. Manifest the courage, resilience, passion, and kindness that she has shown throughout. Let's have our spellbound discussion put to rest. Yanni, please lead the way.
What a great way to end today's episode. My heart is full because of you, Kuldeep, and of course, to our distinguished young leaders from Girl Power Talk. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you very much for guesting today.
And with that, I can totally say that we slayed. Thank you so much to our listeners for staying until the end of this episode. We hope you enjoyed just as much as we did. This has been your host, Kuldeep Pant.
This has been your host, Yani Tabunan. This is PowerPod,
where sass meets substance. We'll see you on the next one.